Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale Series. So we spent the first hour of episode 2 following Rocket around, seeing flashbacks of his love animal, other test subject, dying and trying to bring her back, although they seem to be pretty incompetent on that aspect and failed. Because they hadn't killed somebody else. Obviously, somebody has to die in the presence of the Eternity Engine first to get a life force, to then restore the life force of somebody else. Although in the case of Rocket's love interest, it probably would have just come back as a zombie or some grotesque ghoul or gory mess. It is also, I guess, somewhat not well thought out that Rocket just reburied her. Didn't really even bother to unbury her. Whereas it would make a lot of sense to take the body with you on the ship, either as a memorial instead of just leaving her on the planet, but also keeping the body nearby in case maybe the Eternity Engine would get charged up. There is a real logical reason, if the Eternity Engine did get charged, to depower it and eliminate that charge as soon as possible so it can't be used to restore Thanos, which is obviously the biggest threat that can happen here. But for the most part, the entire hour was pointless, and now we're just back on track with the main story, I imagine, with Nebula going to try and steal Thanos' body from the Nova Corps, probably going to succeed at that, because inherently the other option would have been that we would have given the body to the Collector, then Nebula would have gotten it from the Collector one way or the other. So we're going to go and try and stop her as soon as we travel to get Nebula. Spending a lot of time wandering around the ship multiple times.
Everybody to the bridge.
In what is
We're going to the Nova Corps outpost to intercept
effectively
Nebula.
a poor, shallow comparison to something like Mass Effect, in that this ship is much smaller and there's considerably fewer people to talk to, and there's no side quests or anything like that. We did call the Nova Corps and warn them, so we tried.
We need backup! All pilots, fall back and engage the fugitive! But sir, we'll lose the body. That is not our priority now. Engage Nebula immediately!
I knew this would happen. We should have come right away. She's already got Thanos' body. We can't lose her too.
Let's see.
Rocket was my priority. He needed me.
We'll say that.
I needed you too, Peter.
Star-Lord, thank you for coming to our
If anything, they should be burying
hoping you show up a little
or
earlier.
hiring,
Hey, what's going
hiding
on?
the Eternity
I
Engine.
warned you that Nebula was on her way.
I know. We secured the body, like you said, but she snuck in using a stolen ship of ours. We were overwhelmed. She may
question
off with
here-
the body, but we can still take her down.
Does she have any support, or is this literally
Weapons loaded.
one
Lethal
ship?
force has been sanctioned. Get into position.
It looks to me like it's one ship.
No! I'll be damned if I let the Nova Corps blow my sister to stardust.
We need her alive. Otherwise, we've got no chance of translating the Eternity Forge.
Ready?
Who
On
cares?
my orders.
Hey, whatever your name is.
Rooks, sir. You can call me Rooks.
Rooks
You
is
want.
clearly gonna get
It's
dead.
kind of a nickname. Not as good as yours, though. Star-Lord.
Look, Rooks, we've got this covered. Why don't you leave the cyborg to us?
Well, of course, we'll take all the help we can get, sir. But the Nova Corps have a duty to fulfill. It would be an honor to fight alongside you. Fire when ready.
Okay. When words don't work, there's always firepower.
Notice how the subtitles there said stun guns. So the subtitles aren't even accurate. Which subtitles should be accurate. Are we shooting the Nova Corps here? Are we shooting?
Whoa, whoa, hey, what are you doing?
Stopping you.
Guardians, fall back. If you do not follow orders, we will be forced to return fire.
So effectively,
No!
we're doing a criminal
Star-Lord,
activity.
we have to follow protocol. Please listen to him.
Nova officers, form a blockade. Peter Quill, by order of the Nova Corps, you will stand down and submit to capture.
So much for being on the good side of the law. No doubt that was going to happen.
Star-Lord, Nebula is a wanted fugitive. The biggest threat to the galaxy now that Thanos is dead. She's guilty of multiple crimes. We have explicit orders to eliminate her immediately. We can't afford to be lenient here. It's too risky.
Not if you leave her in our custody. Killing her isn't the only option.
Your assisting her will only place you at odds with the Nova Corps. I do not wish to see you as an enemy, Star-Lord.
Look, Nebula is important to us. She's got something we need, and we need her alive to save the galaxy.
But, sir...
You wanna
How
see
are
the
we
galaxy
saving the
destroyed?
galaxy, really?
No, sir, I don't.
Like,
Which is
I don't
why
get it.
I have to do this. I tried. Officer Rooks, signing off.
I hope we can still be friends and... I think that went well.
We've got targets on us.
On it.
So we're getting the high action cutscene again. You get seemingly 2 of these each episode.
That's the last of them.
Hold on.
Peter Quill, I wasn't expecting you to show your face. Couldn't let the Nova Corps claim your glory. You had to kill me yourself.
You
Well.
brought this upon yourself.
So you think.
Can't really say you're not a murderer. You
should be
killed
thanking
Thanos.
me, Nebula. I killed your bully of a dad and kept the Nova Corps off your back. I deserve a medal.
How dare you speak that way about my father?
Would it kill you to handle this a little more delicately?
Fine. Look, we need your help. You have to come with us.
I will never help you.
Like, clearly the move here is
I
to
just had to make this difficult.
destroy
disabling
the
your
Eternity
engines.
engine right now. Then the Kree accuser can't use it. Or am I supposed to be shooting rocks, or am I supposed to be shooting her? Probably just supposed to be
Come on,
shooting here.
field's too dense. I can't get a clear shot. We'll have to force her out.
But once the Eternity engine is removed from play, then Thanos is dead forever. And the Kree accuser can't resurrect her. The accuser Kree character can't resurrect her army. This is such a pathetic interface, really. Just pull left trigger, pull right trigger. It just feels like it's attempting to pretend
Watch
like it's a
yourself. She may be incapacitated,
space shooter
but she's
game.
still dangerous.
Whereas almost any other game developer outside of Telltale, who just didn't have the budget, didn't have the time, or concern really, to try, would have tried to have the actual space shooting
I refuse to
gameplay
accept your
mechanic.
help or your pity. I'd rather die here. I failed, Father. Again. Leave me here.
Let's see.
Oh my god. Nebula, stop the dramatics.
And we
Just
know in
come
the
with me,
movies
okay?
that eventually
You have no
Nebula
idea what it's like to lose
does
the person who created you.
eventually side with the
Purpose.
Guardians of the
surprised.
Galaxy. And then you also get that
Your sister's being difficult, Gamora.
insect-looking creature in the movies, and I imagine she's not going to show up.
Release on here somewhere. Oh.
So if, what would have happened had he opened the door and the helmet wasn't on her? we've hit the point of way too many QuickTime events, way too many swipes and button presses. If they got rid of all the swipes, maybe there'd be not that many button presses left. But honestly, it feels like it should just be a 100% static cutscene. Boy, did that not animate well.
I don't like knowing Thanos' body is out there somewhere.
Oh, one thing at a time. We have to figure out how this relic works before we start worrying about...
Yeah, where is Thanos' body? It feels like somebody...
We're running a scan of her cybernetics, but
somebody
it's
else
taking some extra time. Just
must have taken it.
We need to get Nebula to help us
and
decipher
work
these
with
symbols.
Just watch yourself, Peter. She's not exactly happy to be here. Okay, she's definitely not happy to be here.
She's the enemy. I don't have to care about her feelings.
Whoops, Joyce.
Funny. Thanos used to say the same thing.
She does not deserve your sympathy.
That's not really the choice I should have
Rocket
picked.
may be able to get her arm working again.
And that's one of the
We could
things
use it
that,
as leverage.
if you were gonna make a new version of this kind of game,
Don't bother.
being able
We are
to
going to dismantle this
change
cyborg
or
piece by
rewind
piece.
time
Fear won't work on
would
someone like
be
Nebula.
very
It'll just rile
helpful.
her up.
If I could just always hit right
Good.
bump to
Not
speed
good.
up or slow down
She was
time.
trained to slaughter thousands. She may hate you, but she does not fear you.
She will learn.
Oh, if you say so.
I do.
Let's see.
Glad you are seeing things my way.
Back
I
to
know
Drax
you're
or
good
Gamora.
at knives, but trust me, you attract more flies with honey.
What would you want with flies?
That's not the point.
Flies are a nuisance.
You okay to go in there?
Frankly, no. I'm not okay. I wanted to reconnect with Nebula. You told me to reconnect with her, and then this happens. Maybe she'll come around someday, but I can't see her wanting to reconcile anytime soon.
Hey, Nebula. Neb. Can I call you Neb? Hey. Do you mind not inviting
There's
me?
a certain level, I
just wanna
suppose,
talk
here
like two civilized people.
where I guess you have to
Can we do
pay
that?
a little bit
That's
more
really up to
attention
you,
while
isn't
playing
it?
the game
Thanos
to make
wanted
sure
this
you pick
relic.
the right
And I know he had to learn
decision.
how to read these glyphs.
the dialogue.
That's the Eternity Forge.
You've heard of it?
How did you make those runes appear? I thought it didn't work.
I don't know. That's what you're here for.
Oh, really?
I need you to help me translate them.
That's not gonna happen. You think I'd so easily betray my father? We are not all so spineless.
I think it would be better for all of us if we just tried to be friends. I mean, this whole enemies, I'm gonna kill you in the name of Thanos thing, it's exhausting.
I don't make friends with traitors. Killing our father wasn't enough for you. You have to rub it in my face, too. He raised you, Gamora. He loved you.
That was not love, Nebula.
And you let this imbecile murder him! You were the reason he's gone. You're the one who ruined my life.
Look, I know you're upset. I'm sorry about your dad.
No, you're not.
Hey, I'm trying to apologize here.
I do not want your apology.
That's enough, Nebula!
You pass judgment on me. On my father. But I know you, Gamora. You may have forgotten Tarval, but I haven't.
I'm warning you,
Never
never
to speak the name. Tarval.
I'll get
Tarval!
what we need from you, one way or another.
You want me to talk? Get rid of her.
Don't be ridiculous, Nebula.
I have nothing to say to you.
I'll make you talk. You know.
Why would we side with
I'd like to
Gamora
see
in
you
such
try.
violent ways when this
Gamora?
game really is just
You need to
not?
What?
now.
If I hear screams, I'm not helping you.
This isn't a game where
She never
violence
cared about
would
us.
matter.
The minute things get
Or
difficult,
work.
she'll be gone. You'll see.
Do we want backstory about Tarval? Sure.
So, what's the deal with Tarval?
It's not my story to tell. If you're so eager to know, you should ask Gamora.
You mention it and then you're
Star-Lord,
not willing to say.
The scan found something. A strange device in the cyborg's skull.
These past few days, they've been the worst of my life. I lose my father. Then you show up and capture me, and I'm forced to relive everything. Just leave me alone.
I'm not trying to hurt you, Nebula.
Doesn't matter, does it? You still did. But maybe there's a way to fix that.
Oh, God. No, what are you doing?
I know you won't take my word for it. So here, it'll tell you what you need to know. You owe me.
Let's see. I guess you say thank you.
Thanks,
Here.
Nebula.
I don't really kind of agree that Nebula would
I
care that
almost-
much that
I told
Thanos
myself
was
I wasn't going to be
defeated.
that person anymore.
him
She
being
just
able to be
gets
defeated
under my skin.
is a sign of weakness, and I feel like in that
I can't help it.
kind of world
You
and
two
mentality,
Clearly have some issues
Nebula
you
would
need to work out.
say
I'll try.
he's weak and he
Maybe
deserved to
without
die.
weapons this time.
I see you tried my plan.
The important thing is we got the Kree thingy. So,
That is a cipher module.
Hmm.
There are not many left in existence.
All right. So how does this work?
I think I can upload this to my own translator.
So because you have a module here, unless it's wireless and sends the information back to Nebula, then Nebula's not going to know what this says,
Okay.
which
It says,
I was figuring
come find me
that she
in
would
the
read something there.
Helpful. Didn't we find it in a temple?
My mom said the same thing when I died. But maybe we missed something. We were a little preoccupied at the time.
Come find me.
Clearly they're going to be
Who do you
lazy
think me
and just make
is?
us go back to the exact same temple.
Temple was completely abandoned when we showed up.
And clearly
Except for
we're
all the dead Nova Corps
going to
bodies that
resurrect
Thanos put
some
there.
evil,
It's
ancient evil that's long since been
gotta
forgotten
be-
about. And we're being tricked.
Whatever is sending me these visions.
I hope you're right. Then we can find out why you're having them in the first place.
Exactly. Let's get moving. We're going back to the temple.
There's not really a precedent here that the Guardians of the Galaxy get visions or Star-Lord gets visions and he
Where's
should
Rydo?
listen to them.
We're almost there.
I have
Destroying
not seen
the
him emerge.
engine makes way more sense.
Hang on. I'll call him. Hey, Rocket. We need you up here.
That would just put an end to the story
without me.
completely, obviously,
I
and
guess
not
he
be as
doesn't wanna
interesting,
talk.
but
Well,
although I
Rocket
guess I
is in
can't
no
really
shape
blame
to
the
guard
Guardians of
Nebula.
Galaxy of not being
someone's
that
got to stay
smart.
back and
They're
keep an eye on her.
clearly written to
I
not
will
be
stay
that smart.
behind to guard the prisoner.
Hang on. No, you won't. I am not leaving him here with her.
So we have to make a decision.
You heard him before. He wants to rip her apart.
I did say that.
She's my sister, Drax.
Does this mean you're volunteering, Gamora?
Yes, I'll guard her.
No! You cannot be seriously considering this.
You're the one who told me to reconnect with her. Now that
We're
she's
still gonna
here,
push
I
that
deserve
narrative.
that opportunity. And I'll make sure she stays out of trouble.
But almost certainly there isn't a branch
Nebula
that
is
is
my
so
responsibility.
far afield that
Your record
You
on
wouldn't
that
have
matter is
Gamora.
questionable.
talking to Nebula at all throughout this game.
Gamora, you should stay behind and keep an eye on Nebula.
I don't want
Maybe it'll give you a
Gamora
chance
with
to
me
talk.
anyways.
Thank you, Peter.
She didn't
You-
protect me before.
You side with her again, Peter Quill. Perhaps I truly have no purpose. Let us return to the temple. I will be ready when you are.
He could have definitely phrased that better and said, Drax, I need you at the temple. I need your strength. Or Drax, I want you with me to protect me. It'd make a lot of sense to just tell Drax that he is supposed to be your bodyguard.
Find me in the temple. Let's go find out who's waiting for us.
Now we pretty much have to awaken whatever ancient evil it's going to be pretty quickly here. Otherwise, you won't even have that consistent of a narrative for the last 3 episodes.
I forgot how slow this elevator was.
I do not like being back in this wretched place.
Well, this ain't a field trip, Drax. The markings on the forge said, find me in the temple.
So we lost Rocket, we lost
here
Gamora.
We are. In a temple. Again. Hello? Anyone here?
Yes, I am here, as is Groot. But I should be guarding Nebula on the ship.
We've been over this, Drax. So, why don't we just spread out? Okay, look for secret doors or passages or whatever.
The statues would indicate...
I've got my scanner, if anyone's here.
What?
We'll find them.
It would indicate, like...
Oh, crap. What was she doing here?
Star-Lord,
what species was
Hala.
here.
Oh my god! Oh god. Why?
That was funny.
That was a hologram, you big dope. Look.
Where did they go?
They went up.
Okay, so now we can go upwards.
Well, these footprints are fresh.
So we're back to walking around small areas.
Okay. Let's see what you were doing over here.
We've got some more things to examine.
Still more footprints.
So pointless to talk to Groot.
Hey, Groot.
You'd think maybe the subtitles would just be translated.
Hey. You think I chose the right person to guard Nebula, right?
I am Groot.
Right. Thanks, pal. Last time we were all in this room, you really kicked some Thanos ass. Thanks for that.
I am Groot.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if we don't even get Groot to remember one thing you say.
You seen anyone around who seems like they might know what an
Although,
Eternity Forge
in fairness,
is?
even if Groot did react differently
Something over there I should look at?
based on
Thanks,
something you
Groot.
said to him,
Keep up the good work.
it couldn't be much of a reaction, because all he's going to say is, I am Groot. There's a crater.
Man, Thanos really packed a punch. I still can't believe we all survived that fight.
It'd be an interesting reveal if they didn't.
Looks like Thanos' armor. Didn't exactly protect him.
Good. It is a comfort to know the Mad Titan was mortal after all.
Talk to Drax. Boy, does the camera jump around. What? What just happened there? I hit B to talk to Drax, and it made me walk away.
I apologize for my outburst on the ship. However, I should have been the one to guard the cyborg instead of Gamora. Gamora has too much of an attachment to her sister. She might let her feelings get in the way.
This mission here is super important, Drax. I needed you by my side. No other place I'd want you to be. I couldn't let you guard Nebula and come on this mission. Can't have your cake and eat it too, you know.
You are right. I could not do both. I just wanted to share my thoughts. And I am confident I would be able to eat many cakes.
Let's not forget why we're here. Have you found anyone yet?
No, but I have seen fresh footprints in the dust.
Yeah, I've seen them too. Let me know if you notice anything else.
Seems like we're probably going to end up fighting Hala. Do we have the
It's weird being back in this place
Infinity
again.
Engine with us? Probably.
It gives me the...
So we're probably going to get it
creeps.
stolen again.
This place.
That's the problem with Telltale
I
games.
cannot help but think of
is
my
that
family.
Because of the episodic
All the
nature, a lot of
vengeance I
times you
strived
do end
after.
up just going in circles doing
It
the same
ended
thing
in this room.
multiple times. There's very few properties
Hey,
that I would
you're not
have wanted to
still
see
upset about
them
me choosing
make
Gamora to guard Nebula,
more
are you?
Telltale games around,
You
but
have explained your reasons to me, and
perhaps
I will accept
something like the original
That is
Saw
enough.
movie in a horror
Okay, good.
aspect would have made a lot of sense, because
Think?
when
Let's
you
get back to
think
it.
about that original Saw movie, it is for the most part taking place in one room with two people talking the whole time. There are some flashbacks in the original Saw movie, and then there's a lot of just storyline, backstory, dialogue reveals.
More footprints over here.
That being said, the sequel Saw movies then go in very different directions, and a Telltale game really would not work for those.
This is where Thanos found the Eternity Forge.
It doesn't have to be a horror movie. There's some other movies that it would make sense.
Hala was here too.
Clearly that's a door.
Her hand is going through the wall?
Oh, I just thought that was a glitch.
There's something behind here. Hello? Anybody home?
That's certainly an aspect too, is that you can't have a game be glitchy and then have a hand go through the wall intentionally. I waited until I was done walking down the stairs before it let me use the time scanner.
What is she doing? Whatever they were trying to do, looks like they needed the forge to do it. Score one for the good guys.
I am Groot!
Up we go. So it seems like there's a
Looks
button,
like some kind of button.
or you were going to remove the head completely.
Okay, so much for that.
So
Pushing them at the same time.
two people. Who has floating boots? Let's
Hey,
just
how's it going
exhaust
up
all
there?
these first.
Not now, Pete.
Come on, Rockets.
Okay, this is gonna sound like I'm hanging up, because I'm hanging up.
Hey, Gamora. How's it going with Nebula?
About as well as I expected. She's been pretty quiet so far.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Better than the alternative.
Clearly in these scenarios, it's showing that really there should only be 3 characters in the room at any point anyways. In that we're getting 3 2-3 other characters sidelined.
Hey, Drax, you see that statue? Press the button on his helmet when I say so, okay? You okay?
So they just skip
Okay.
over the part of Drax
1,
climbing up there, I
2,
guess.
3. What happened?
You went early.
No, I didn't.
1, 2, 3, go! I was waiting for the go.
Fine.
I guess that's fine.
1, 2, 3, go! And it's Christmas.
Inherently, if you're going to have a system like that, though, you would
Check this out.
lock it out
That
for some amount of time if
Definitely
you
looks like
pressed
the
it
Eternity Forge.
at the wrong time.
And those souls are being absorbed by it.
That's why it didn't work for Rocket. It wasn't charged.
Now that does introduce a potential thought here in which Drax might kill himself to bring back his wife and daughter. And yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't be super happy about that, but I imagine Drax's simplistic mind might agree with that. Or he might kill some other people to bring him back. Inherently, I guess, almost all the Guardians have somebody that they've lost. Almost everybody does.
Oh, so she was touching the mural when she reached through the wall. You are so smart, Peter.
Okay, let's ask
Just checking in.
Gamora.
Anything new to report?
Nebula is finally talking to me. That's new. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
A lot
Absolutely.
of these dialogue options feel like they just are unlocked at certain points, and so you might end up going through 3 or 4 dialogue options now, or you could potentially stack them for way later.
Hey, Gamora. We uncovered a hidden mural and we...
Take it back! I will not! You always were stubborn! Hey!
Yeah. I'll get back to you later.
Okay. Definitely seems like
This actually mean anything to you?
a lot of souls.
No, but I like the skeletons.
Oh, we've got a strange button, and seemingly we have nothing else to do, so let's just push the button.
Look at this.
Seems like it would make more sense to have Drax push the button. A, because he might be more expendable, and B, because you could just pretend like you're too weak. And now I can't click the right stick button and use the time element.
Looks familiar.
Now weirdly, you just aren't really going to be given a choice here. You can't... I mean, I guess you could try and walk away, but that's it. This is just so dumb. It's just like, leave. Don't go back to the temple. Destroy the temple. Destroy the Eternity Forge. Live with the status quo. Take the victory and lock it in. Thanos is dead. Who cares if somebody has his body? Best case scenario, they would clone him. They won't be able to bring him back, probably without the Eternity Forge. It is also, I guess, questionable as to who Thanos was planning on bringing back. As somebody who worships death, I don't know why he would feel that that it would be correct to bring anybody back alive. That would be stealing souls from his love, death. And yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. If anything, Thanos should have been here to destroy the Eternity Forge, because it was a violation of Death's control. But alas, we can't do anything. We have to move the game forward, so
And here,
we'll put the relic
where
here.
all have failed. No Eternity Forge, no prize. Here goes nothing.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hala is just hiding behind a rock somewhere.
What does
here.
it say?
Hang on. Let's see if Nebula's cipher was worth all the trouble.
These masks feel like they just
Eternity
appear.
Forge resides here, pending such time as it can be wielded responsibly. Until then, she shall remain entombed across the galaxy. Huh.
So this is not the correct temple? We came here for nothing.
Hang on a second, there's more. It says Emnios? The temple we're looking for is on a place called Emnios. The symbols are a starman. I know how to get there. Gamora,
Peter,
whoever we're looking for isn't here, but we figured out where to find him. Get those engines fired up. We're going for a ride.
about that. Rocket's down in the engine room. He's, yelling some new and creative curse words. Yeah, you might want to talk to him.
So, yeah. Off on a journey to bring back some ancient evil. As soon as we fix the engine. It's crazy that Rocket just knocked down to being your engineer.
Look, I know you miss Lila. That's okay.
I did notice in the flashback with Rocket that he actually was the serial number before Lila, so I don't know what that really takes from me.
Deep breaths, Rocket, okay? Trust me, it'll help. Just in, out.
His story is too slow. It's got a lot of fairly long pauses.
She was the only thing keeping me alive. And I couldn't save her. She protected me. And I couldn't help her. She didn't deserve to die like that.
This is moving so slow. I was looking at my phone, getting distracted.
She never saw.
Push the button fast enough.
This is all I have left of her. This stupid computer. I can't do this without her, Pete. I thought I could, but I can't. I can't.
She's always going to be with you, Rocket.
Theoretically, you could probably just play this whole game making almost no choices.
This time. There's nothing left. I still can't. I don't want to give her up. It's all I got.
Let's see. Hold on to her. Sure.
You should hold on to it, Rocket. It means a lot to you.
He'll probably end up doing something with that computer.
What's going on?
Later.
Get the Eternity Forge, keep it safe. Go help Rocket.
What are you gonna do?
Just turn on music. Here we have our stream safe music playing again. Now the name of this episode was Under Pressure.
Fighting you two.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Under Pressure is playing right now. The Kree are back.
How about some fresh air? Oh, that's right. There's no air in space. Oops.
So maybe the Kree stole Thanos' body, or maybe the Kree
Let me
are
fight.
working.
You tracked
with
me
it.
on this piece of junk, and now we're surrounded by pissed off Kree. I don't want to die here, and neither do you.
So you either trust her, or you
If
think
keep
they're
me here,
working
they'll
together.
kill you, your friends, and then they'll come for me too. Let me out. Without me, you're just gonna get us all killed. It's
Now
your
is not the
only
time
option.
to really wait
Let
to
me
hear
fight, and
every
those Kree are dead in
line
minutes.
of dialogue.
Okay, but one move against my crew. Any of them gets hurt, and this little trust exercise is over. Do you understand?
It's ridiculous for him to
I
have
understand.
headphones on while talking to people, and also have them on while fighting. That's the kind of thing that easily could get you killed if you're not aware of the scenario or paying attention to the environment.
Cowards!
Well, it seems like we got 3 action cutscenes with quick time events this time. The last one wasn't as long as I
Drax,
thought it
you
might have
okay?
been.
Drax! Not okay.
Hurry!
Gamora!
I should have guessed Nebula wouldn't pass up the chance to fight.
Well, someone on this ship has to keep you all alive.
The
Here! This
robotic
one's yours!
voice of Nebula is interesting, but it does present an idea of
That's my seat!
why is everybody else's voice so normal. Like even Groot still sounds just like a regular human speaking, even though he only says I'm Groot. Now why are we switching control to Gamora at this point? That doesn't make a lot of sense at all. There is a game called Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. It's pretty old, but there is a very narrative and emotionally impactful section in which you go from controlling
Almost
one
like old
character,
times, isn't it?
or 2 characters actually, the 2
Never gets
brothers,
any easier.
to controlling only 1 character. And that is kind of the whole build-up of the final act of the final act of the game.
Now!
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And I would definitely say, if you're gonna, in a video game, change who the protagonist is, change who the player character is, it definitely needs to be
Is the engine room.
very, very impactful
Rocket.
and important.
Nebula and I will keep the bridge
part
secure.
of the story.
Just get the power back on.
If I was gonna play as Gamora, that needed to be that at the very least Peter Quill was knocked out,
Groot.
if not killed.
Right. Engine room.
Really don't see any value in the button mashing
Rocket.
quick time events.
You think you could possibly win against the Kree? Now that I've obtained the Eternity Forge for Hala.
Ah, stop, dude. Just stop.
So
I
at
really
this
don't
point,
care.
How dare you
You
speak to me
kill
like that?
How dare I?
him and probably charge
You
the
come on
Eternity
my
Forge
ship,
again.
You bust up my team, and then you go about spouting your evil plan like a bad monster movie?
Hold your tongue! Hala will!
Hala can kiss my beautiful Earth ass.
This is gonna blow up the whole room, set it on fire. Maybe electrify it. Hey, you can actually die in this game. Maybe I didn't hit the buttons fast enough.
I am.
In almost all the other Telltale games, I
Right.
never saw
Engine
a game over sequence. And it certainly doesn't add anything to a Telltale game to have a game over possibility.
You think
Most
you could
other
possibly
visual
win
novels
against
and
the
point-and-click
Kree?
adventure games, if you
Now
really were
that
going to
I've
call this a
obtained the
point-and-click
Eternity
adventure game,
Forge
wouldn't
for
have
Hala.
game over
Ah,
scenarios.
stop, dude. Just stop. I really don't care.
How dare you speak to me like that?
How dare I? You come onto my ship. You bust up my team.
See, I'm just
and then you go
looking
about
for button
spouting your
prompts and
evil
pressing
plan
buttons.
Like a bad monster movie?
Hold your tongue! Hala will!
Hala
But
can
maybe I'm
kiss
not
my
supposed to be
beautiful
pressing
Earth ass.
a specific button. It's weird though to have
Hey, guy!
it top you
What's it like
and
being
have
on
you
fire? That bad,
tap
huh?
the Y button
Stupid.
when the rocket is not actually tapping a button.
You must think
Mm,
you're
again,
clever,
it's weird
Peter
to
Quill, but
play
you
as
can't run
Rocket.
forever. The forge will be mine. Do not be foolish. Its purpose is much greater than this.
I saw the damage Rocket did to your ship, lady. You're gonna have to dock soon, and you know it. And you can't keep running either.
You will see how wrong you are.
Peter, you better get the engines running.
So in this
The
case,
Revenant's weapons are coming online.
it's not
Rocket,
charged
I'm
yet,
on it.
but had
Gamora, set a
Rocket
course for
kept
MDLs.
his girlfriend
Drop
alive,
off our stowaways
you
on the way
could
there.
definitely have killed one of the people to charge it. Although it seems they're not willing to be murderers. And in all fairness, they only really killed Thanos because they had no other choice. I don't think the Guardians of the Galaxies are just cold-blooded killers, and that may be the one crime they're not willing to really commit anymore. Gamora obviously is an assassin and a cold-blooded killer.
Is everything okay?
Whatever you say.
You do have this problem where
You think your mom is really down there?
as you get further and further down the path of these stories, more and more of your
Whatever's down
side
there,
characters
it
get
isn't
angry at each other.
But we need to find out what it is.
I don't know why you need to
People you
find out
love.
who it is.
You know it in your gut when they're gone. But maybe there's a chance the relic could bring her back. I mean, if you could bring your mom back, what then? You still gonna be doing this?
You bring back your mother as an
Come
adult.
on, I wouldn't do that to you guys.
What? She's gonna
The
just
Guardians stick
be a
together,
mother living
no
on
matter
Earth.
And what, Meredith Quill
She
becomes
very
our new
possibly
pilot?
would just... She'd probably just grow old and die again. Yeah, you get maybe a few more years, maybe a lot of years, but you may not
This is
get
it.
that much at all. As far as we know, even Peter Quill, Star-Lord here, was brought back and is only going to stay alive for a
So,
few
what
months
now?
or maybe
I'm sure
a
Peter
few
has a
years.
plan. You do have a plan, right?
Once you quantify
Come on, guys. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. We don't need plans.
Can't argue with that.
once you quantify life force as something, then you have to certainly question whether life force has a variable in it of a certain amount of life. Without getting into any kind of hard science sci-fi there. Or you could certainly explain it as it is just a very advanced defibrillator that brought him back from the brink of death, and thus he had the same chance of living as long as he would have before he was killed. Or that it was simply erasing the effects that happened recently in a temporal way, and it isn't transferring life force. But obviously they've already said you need a sacrifice, so it is transferring life force. Or it's some kind of weird device that uses life force to power itself to be a defibrillator. I don't like the way his helmet appears and disappears. I think the Marvel movies did it way better. So servers still are down. Now is under pressure, and I definitely was correct in my guess that this was about an hour and 40 minutes, I would guess. Yeah. Overall, the episodes, once you get to episode 2, always get shorter, and there's a ripoff there. They try to make the first episode the most impactful and the longest, so it feels like all the other ones, if you were buying them piecemeal, are worth it. Although, probably by the time this Telltale game came out, I think almost everybody would have been buying the full season and not trying to buy it separately. I do want to see in the credits here what songs are included. I'm assuming Under Pressure from Queen would have been one of the licensed ones they would have wanted to use, but maybe they couldn't actually afford it. Dancing in the moonlight, this town ain't big enough for the best of us. Wow. So they couldn't get the rights to Under Pressure, so they just used Under Pressure as the headline, as the title of the episode. I guess we may be in a slightly different position than what I thought we would be in, but probably not by that much. Still feels very likely that Nebula at some point, whether she's controlled being cybernetic by somebody else, or whether she acts on her own accord, she'll probably bring back Thanos maybe at the very last second of episode 5. We're mostly fighting the Kree and Accusers, and then it's going to be a lot of side quests, I suspect, to get more backstory of Gamora, maybe some backstory of Drax and Groot, and Groot will be the weirdest one on that point. I wouldn't be surprised if episode 5 barely gives any story. You can say it was created with the Telltale tool, and the Telltale tool is the internal proprietary game engine that these games were made on, that basically was barely getting any updates to it at all at the end. And they just licensed so many games, and they tried to make so many games in a row and saturated the market by far too much that they never could update the Telltale tool to be a reasonable game engine to program in. That's why you have weird glitches. That's why you have lackluster interactions. Whereas if they were to just make a 2D visual novel, there probably is a visual novel engine that is more third party that you could have used. That wouldn't be my main suggestion. My main suggestion certainly would have been to use the Unity engine, so these kinds of games, which would have worked well on a tablet and even nowadays on larger screen cell phones, would have worked perfectly fine. I could see playing a Telltale game where your thumb swipes up for the top dialogue choice, swipes to the right for the right one, swipes to the left for the left one, and swipes down for the bottom one. And then the little QuickTime events certainly would be able to be replicated on a cell phone too, swiping up, down, left, and right, or tapping in general, not particularly tapping A versus Y or anything like that, but a more simplified QuickTime events on a cell phone version of a Telltale game wouldn't change much. What decisions did we really make that matter here? I mean, we've sided very heavily with Rocket because I knew we were going to end up with going to Rocket's backstory just from the spoilers of the description of the episode. And we sided more with Gamora than Drax, which, yeah, definitely makes sense to side more with Gamora. Gamora, I think, can hold a grudge way better than Drax can. We'll go ahead and hit the X button and see if we can update the things, but obviously it's not going to work on now that the servers are down and the game is not even available for purchase. I don't even think if you went to telltale.com/guardians you would actually see anything. I imagine the new Telltale owns Telltale.com and is only really advertising the Walking Dead games that I believe they've re-released, and that's it. Which, in all fairness, if I am complaining about the original Telltale oversaturating the market with these games, it does make a lot of sense for a new Telltale company to focus down on the ones that really got very good critical acclaim and sold well, which would be the Walking Dead games, the Wolf Among Us games, and the Batman games, which I think those are still available for purchase, although I'm not even sure the new Telltale owns the Batman games themselves. And Wolf Among Us 2 has been promised, but they really haven't delivered on it. So this next time on, usually in a Telltale game, would highlight decisions you made in this episode and in the first episodes at least. Mention them. But I wouldn't be surprised if in this case it barely mentions anything we decided to do. I'm so confused as to where Thanos' body is and who has it. I feel like the Collector might have just stolen it.
Over it.
And had we given it to the Collector, then I wouldn't be surprised if the Nova Corps actually stole it.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
You ever play that game, Monkey in the Middle? No? Well, here's the thing. There's a bunch of jerks. They stand in a circle. They toss a ball around. And some
this is
poor
interesting.
turd in the middle tries to catch the
where
ball.
they are mentioning his race.
That turd, that's the
even
monkey.
Even though the codex on the ship
I
doesn't mention races.
Man. I was that turd.
Peter he's not the most mature. Sometimes he can be just a huge...
Zinwuberian.
Sorry. It drives me
From
crazy.
Zinwuberi.
I don't think I was really prepared for what we found on Emios. Oh, Peter was definitely not prepared. At all. You don't look surprised.
Nah, I got my ship back, and that was that. For a while.
He's a Centaurian from Centaurian.
I never been happier
4.
in my life. Quill, all of them, they fell into a dark hole. Real dark. Real dark.
All that ancient stuff we found, guess what? It wasn't meant to be found. Honestly, why didn't they just bury it? You know, why'd they leave all these clues and crap? Just hide it better. So dumb. I mean, Hala, she might have. Who knows? Then again, maybe she would have stopped if it wasn't for us.
I felt like Nebula was coming around. I don't know. Certainly she was just as angry as she always was. For a little while, I thought it could be just like it was before. Before Tarval.
Real dark. Real.
And when we finally found her, I couldn't make sense of it. None of us could. And what she showed us...
Oh yeah, the second it was out of her mouth, I knew.
You get a chance like that. So much power in your hands. What would you do if you had to make that same choice?
No one should ever have that much power. Ever.
Everybody looking at you. You know the thing about responsibility? It sucks. Like a lot.
Real dark. Dark, man. You know? Still fun, though.
So yeah, there's, as far as I can tell, not a single mention in that next time as far as what your decisions would have been in this second episode. Inherently, I just don't feel like the second episode is going to matter, which tends to be the case with Telltale games, is that the previous episodes don't really matter at all. And then this next episode seems like it's going to be somewhat focused around Gamora and Nebula, and our choices are still locked. And I think they will just always be locked because the servers are down and all the choices seem to be saved on the servers instead of in the save files. Well, obviously they are saved in the save files, but are still being looked at through the servers. They're being saved in 2 places. That's something that the new Telltale could potentially patch if they ever got the license rights to re-release this. Although it really would make no sense to re-release this game because it's just not going to be in line with the Marvel movies. And that is worth mentioning. It doesn't have too much to do with video games, but increasingly we've seen a lack of real concern of preserving Disney content on like Disney Plus. Things are getting removed from Disney Plus just as a way of writing off the tax expenses there and lowering their tax burden. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's effectively a retconning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe where they do start to de-emphasize or no longer sell some of the Marvel movies. And the first step there certainly would be to not sell or allow the resale of licensed games that just aren't really in canon in the first place. Disney has always been built around the idea of the Disney Vault for many years now, and you thought, and they definitely let people believe that Disney Plus as a streaming service would be complete unfettered access to the Disney Vault, and really hasn't become that. With the Star Wars content on Disney Plus, they're increasingly trying to have more side content play a bigger role. The Marvel Disney Plus content has done a little bit of that also. Still looking at this loading screen, it does feel like they're all going to end up fighting each other for the Eternity Forge, although maybe that really doesn't happen. Obviously, the solution here would just to be throw the Eternity Forge into a star, find your nearest star, eject it into its gravity well, and then even if it isn't destroyed as it enters the center of the star, it would be very difficult to retrieve. But almost certainly by the time the Guardians of the Galaxy realize they need to destroy the Eternity Forge, it will be too late. Although throwing it in a star could surprisingly power it up and then cause it to bring back a lot of dead people in that solar system or in the universe. That would be an interesting twist too. You think you're doing the good thing, destroying the Holy Grail effectively, because this is very similar to Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail. And then you throw it into a star and then it brings back a lot of dead bad guys. And that's where maybe a story like this might work if you were going to bring it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is to say, hey, you know what? Let's just bring back some of those bad guys and make a new movie. Bring back Thanos. Make him a character that's a threat again. Maybe not the biggest threat. Maybe he wouldn't just try to get the Infinity Gems the second time. Or maybe the Infinity Gems themselves are inaccessible, but Thanos is still trying to kill people. That certainly could be something that would work. Although right now, my understanding is that the second generation of Marvel Cinematic movies is more focused on magic than it would be around space characters. And that's going to be a tougher sale, certainly. Alright, well, I don't want to ramble on too long, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's a link down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.